Hello, and welcome to the Radiologic Technology program with Folsom Lake College. Some of the things we're going to talk about today are introductions, mission statement and objectives, application process, curriculum, clinicals, drug background, immunizations and titers, accreditation, and we're going to cover some questions that you guys have. So John Skellinger is our dean and Jason Pedro is our chair. I am Christy Foster Bowman. I am the program director overseeing this program. Some of the faculty that we've hired is Christina Derhobel. She's an instructor and the clinical coordinator. We have Ali Anwar, who is an instructor. We have Stephanie Samsel, who is also an instructor. So the mission statement that we're proposing, it will be voted upon at the advisory board meeting, is the Folsom Lake College Radiologic Technology program prepares competent, ethical, and compassionate entry-level radiologic technologists who deliver safe, high-quality patient care. Through a rigorous, student-centered didactic and clinical education, the program fosters clinical competency, professionalism, and critical thinking to meet the evolving needs of the healthcare community. Okay, upon completion of this program, the students will be able to apply positioning skills according to the clinical setting, practice radiation safety in accordance with the LARA principles, which is as low as reasonably achievable, critique images for diagnostic quality, adapt to the patient conditions through technical factors, apply effective written and oral communication skills, demonstrate professionalism and ethical behavior, pass the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists exam, which is the ART exam. So the application process, what you're going to do is you're going to register to become an FLC student. You're going to set up a counseling appointment. If you don't already have one at this point, don't worry, we'll get you one after you're accepted. Get transcripts evaluated, okay, really important. So you're going to complete the prerequisite courses. So RADTECH 100, you're going to have completed before you start the program in 2027 if you get selected. This year only in 2026 will allow you to take it concurrently in the fall if you get accepted to the program. You're going to have medical language. You're going to have introduction to chemistry, anatomy, physiology 1 and 2, and it needs to have a 5-year recency and interpersonal communication or communications course of some sort. For this year, applications are open until the 26th of July. Random number generator for the students on who is going to be selected, and we'll notify them on the 28th of July. And there's a mandatory orientation on August 13th at 2 p.m. for those that are selected or considered alternates. So if you're accepted, you're going to get a conditional acceptance. You're going to get this by the 28th. I need a response by the 29th of July. So you'll be contacted by the counseling for your appointment to review your transcripts. You need to make an appointment with your doctor immediately for your physical, immunization, titers, and you need to also get a CPR card, and it needs to be American Heart, and it needs to have hands-on compressions, super important. You must show proof of medical insurance also, and you need to be at orientation on August 13th at 2 p.m. with everything listed above completed. Has to be done. If it's not done, you'll be dismissed. So alternate status. So if you're accepted as an alternate, you're waiting to see if someone drops or receives an addition, or we receive additional clinical sites. So you'll be notified on the 28th of your status. I need you to set up a doctor's appointment, get all of your immunizations, titers, physical, CPR, and show proof of health insurance. You'll need to be at orientation also on the 13th at 2 p.m. and have everything completed. You'll be notified no later than August 21st if you made it into the program that would start on Monday, August 31st. So hopefully we can get another clinical site, or if someone drops out of the program, you'll slide right into their place. So classes start on August 31st. In your first year, you're going to be taking patient care, radiology, physics, and equipment. You're going to have radiographic anatomy and positioning 1 and radiographic anatomy and positioning 1 lab. So we call it procedures course or positioning 1 with the lab. So you'll also be going to clinics starting September 8th. So that is your radiologic technology practicum 1. Okay, so that's in the fall. In spring, you're going to take procedures 2 with the lab. you're going to have radiobiology, your principles of radiation exposure and equipment, and then you're going to have your practicum course, which is your clinical course. Instead of 16 weeks, you're going to have 18 weeks. So summer, you're going to have practicum 3, which was you going to clinic. You're also going to have radiographic cross-sectional anatomy and radiographic pathology. So in year 2, you're going to have procedures 3 and procedures 3 with the lab. You're going to have career development and advancement. You're going to have mammo or CT or computed tomography. So we teach you one or the other. And then you'll have clinicals, rotations around that also. Radiographic pharmacology and venipuncture, and then you have clinic. So in spring of your second year, your last semester, you're going to have procedures 4 with the lab. You're going to have radiology board review, image analysis, and you're going to have, again, your practicum, which is your clinical, for 18 weeks. All right, so when we're all said and done, you're going to have just over 1,800 hours of clinic during the program. And for Sutter, we have Capitol Avenue, we have Sutter Roseville Medical Center, we have Sutter on Carmichael, Sutter Arden, which is brand new site, and pending, we have Sutter Medical Center, which just got cleared. We have Sutter Auburn Faith, Sutter Amador, L Street, and Elk Grove. They're all pending. So Marshall Medical, we have Placerville and Karen Park. We actually have it cleared with Eldorado Hills also. So UC Davis, if you go to UC Davis, you'll be there for the full 2 years. We have the Medical Center, ACC, 48X, X and Y Street, Elk Grove, C Street, Midtown, Roseville, Folsom, and Arden Care. So we have quite a few that you'll rotate through. So everyone else is going to rotate amongst Sutter, Marshall, and we'll have Dignity on board also. Potentially Kaiser, that's something we're working on. So our growth plan is to include those other centers, and you'll rotate through those as we get them. All right, so what do you have to do to get into the program for the clinical setting? So we need a background check, we need a drug screen, we need immunizations, and we need titers. So we need titers, varicella, we need tetanus, so Tdap, mumps, measles, so your MMR. I need hepatitis B. If you haven't started your hepatitis B series, you need to get your first injection by orientation. Now, quantiferon, this is for TB. It's a blood test. Since you're having your titers drawn anyway, we recommend you get a quantiferon. If you want to do the 2-step TB, it's actually a 4-step TB. So you have to get the 2-step done twice. You have to have a gap in between of so many weeks. You don't have that much time. So also COVID-19, this is required, and you may also need to get a booster. Flu, it's seasonal. I'll let you know when you need to get it. Now, COVID and flu, I'll let you waiver if you have a medical reason why you can't get it. Otherwise, it's expected that you get it. Now, your drug screen has to be clear. You can't have anything in it that is not prescribed. So anything that is altering you and your mental state. So marijuana is not approved. We receive federal funds, and so does the hospitals. So you cannot have any of that in your system. Your drug screen has to be clear. If you have a negative dilute, you're going to have to get it done within 24 hours again, and you're paying for it. And if it comes back negative dilute, we treat it as a positive and you're out. So we have zero tolerance for it. I'm sorry, but we can't have it in the facilities. Background check. If you have anything on your background check that is beyond a speeding ticket, you need to let me know. And we may need to file with ART to get you cleared to make sure that you can go through the program and sit for your ART exam. Okay. CPR, like I said, it needs to be American Heart and hands-on. Heartbeat is great in Sacramento. That's who I go through. Fit testing, typically we do this on campus, so we can get your fit test done typically at orientation. Uniforms. So we are going to have uniforms that you're going to be wearing. It's going to be Caribbean blue scrubs. You need at least 2 sets. I don't care what the style is. You pick out the style that you like, okay? You need to buy these if you get accepted to the program immediately. because we are going to embroider the shirt. If you're going to get a jacket, you need to get a jacket that is the same color that can be embroidered with our logo. So really important that you bring it to orientation. You're allowed to wear white, black, or gray undershirts, no bright colors, and your shoes can be white, black, or gray, but they must be leather. Okay, so uniforms need to be clean and wrinkle-free at all times. If they're all faded out, if you buy inexpensive scrubs, they're going to fade and look terrible, and I'm going to tell you have to go buy new ones. So your hair color has to be natural, no long or artificial nails, no tattoos showing, and no excessive piercings. So our accreditation, so California Department of Public Health, Radiologic Health Branch, CDPHRHB, approved us as a school. Our school number is 1504, super exciting. We have the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists, which is ART. They have approved our school, so you can sit for your ART exam. We have Joint Review Committee on Education in Radiologic Technology, that is JRCERT. We plan on filing for this by the end of the year. I have to have students in class, and it's a huge report that I have to write about our program and what we're doing to be fair and equitable to all students. And they're going to do a site visit, and then we have board approval. As long as we get the board approval prior to the students graduating, you can say you're from a JRCERT school. I highly recommend, if you're looking into radiology, that you go to a JRCERT school. It's a higher standard for all of the programs that have JRCERT. If you go to jrcert.org, you can see a list of the programs. All right, so here's some dates. We have orientation, right? So now we have mandatory lab on the 24th, which is a Monday. There's 2 sessions. It'll be 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. We'll let you know what lab session you're in. Classes start on the 31st at 9 a.m. You'll be in class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll start clinic on the 8th, which is the clinical days are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can be put into any of those days on any shift. So it's really hard if you plan on working. All right, so questions. This is a 2-year program. It is full-time. It is difficult if you try to work, so I don't recommend you working. Do your best to save up as much money as you can so that you can just focus on your studies. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email me. It's fosterc@flc.losrios.edu. Thank you.